Be on your way. Take the steps. When you have a dream, you gotta start. It's the only way. If you're gonna shine, and you're gonna shine, shine, shine. You're gonna shine.
Hello, and welcome to the ranch, where we're on a quest for the best Americana music around the country. And really have a treat for you today. Again, I went across the pond to a UK site that I belong to. It's called Top Talent. Sparky runs that. And every week he puts together showcases. And he does it like genre for genre. He does it like 10 a week. And I met some of the best artists there. So I had to go to the UK to meet this next act, which you're going to get to know. And they're probably one of the most diverse acts that I've met. They write in a lot of genres, but they have some really great Americana music, which we're going to share to you tonight. So without further ado, we're going to talk to the Tone Travelers. Say hi, everyone, to the Tone Travelers. We have Monique and Bill. And we got little baby Oliver. He's the cutest thing ever.
Oliver Martin.
And he's playing, he's keeping it, holding the beat for you guys.
That's right. He's ready.
He is ready to go. He's going to be a rocker. I know it. I can see it.
He's the leader of the band.
And we are going across 7 platforms tonight. So anyone watching tonight, we can see all your comments. So feel free to chime in if you have any questions. So right now, I am turning it over to Monique and Bill. Hello, how are you?
Great. Thank you. How are you doing tonight?
I'm good. Now, where are you guys located?
We're in the middle of nowhere, if you know where that is. It's specifically in north central Pennsylvania.
Wait a minute, I'm in Pennsylvania too, and that's not exactly nowhere.
Okay, well, there are a lot of nowhere parts of Pennsylvania that a lot of people aren't aware of. What part are you at?
I'm further east. I'm in by Bethlehem, Allentown.
Okay.
A little bit north. But there are some really rural parts of Pennsylvania.
We are.
We're very close to Potter County.
We're right between Potter and Tioga counties.
And I know Potter County because my parents used to have a cabin up there for hunting.
Right.
And they were not allowed to zone for water. So they could not put running water in Potter County in the cabins.
Still like that, probably.
Yeah.
Probably still like that.
We lose power, don't get worried because I don't think there's any kind of conditions that's going to cause that tonight, but it's a relatively common occurrence because we're in the mountains here and there's so many trees, and when there's ice and snow, one power line gets knocked down and it could be anywhere in a 20-30 mile radius, and it's a matter of until they find it, we're just literally in the dark. So we get out the oil lamps and the battery lights, and we live like we're
And the banjo.
Yeah, all the acoustic instruments come out.
You're right. You know what? You lose power, you go acoustic. That's what you do.
That's right. But yeah, we're in the endless mountains of Pennsylvania.
There's what I can't hear over the keyboards.
Oh, sorry.
Go down for now.
Okay.
We're in the endless mountains. We have the Pennsylvania Grand Canyon as basically our backyard, which is one of my favorite spots in this whole world. It's really beautiful. If you ever get a chance to make it here, it's worth.
Yes, it is beautiful, beautiful country out there. But there are still one-room schoolhouses in some of the in Potter County.
A mile away from here, actually.
Yeah.
It's amazing. A lot of history in this area. I found an arrowhead on the road around the corner from the house when I was a kid, and I still have it.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
You find stuff like that.
For sure. There's rumor like that, too.
Well, I'm from a little town, Hockendaqua, which is across the river from Catasauqua. So it was big Indian, but I never found any arrowheads or anything.
Okay.
So, yeah, but it was
Just a
definitely
chance.
Shakespearean country.
I've
So
never
it sounds like a good time to talk about Americana music because it sounds like you're really in the heart of it.
well, having, Bill is from the Philadelphia area, and I lived there for 17 years, and that's where we met and got uh, together and everything. But I grew up in this area, and I would say that definitely, when you turn on the radio, like FM radio, you get either country or Christian, and maybe like one classic rock station, and that's about it. The rest you have to go to AM radio.
Really?
That's what I grew up hearing everywhere. In the stores, restaurants. It's mostly country music, and I also grew up playing the fiddle, learning a lot of fiddle tunes. So it's definitely in my musical soul for sure. And
Right.
that's definitely that's a big part of my personal influence here.
But it sounds like you guys are on a musical journey, though, that you really have branched out from country.
Oh yeah, I mean, I would not. That's not to say that country is my roots. That it's just definitely something I couldn't escape from. So it's just part of the mix of all the different influences.
Right.
I'm mostly classically trained, and Bill has.
I'm rock and blues mostly. I mean, played in bands ever since I was 15. I had a record deal back in the late 80s, and yeah, but I played all that kind of music too. I played it, slide, lap steel, all kinds of blues, all kinds of different genres, really.
So let's talk about a little bit about the songwriting process because you do write in different styles. Do you say, okay, I'm going to come up with a country song, or do you come up with a song and say, all right, I think this is this, I think this is this? So how does it start?
I think it's more like a theme, man.
It
than
depends,
anything.
really. I mean, sometimes
Like
it is like that.
for level best,
Well,
tell the story, Mooney.
yeah, basically, uh, we found this book. We were at Bill's mom's house, and she had this old, obscure, out of print
It was
book
like falling apart. The
of-
bindings were all falling apart.
of Mark Twain's. It's called something like
Letters.
Old and New, or something like that. But it was basically letters that were correspondences between people and Mark Twain, and someone wrote him a letter about this person who was
He
like
was a miner, a preacher, a singer, a choir leader. What else was he?
he was a jack of all trades,
Right.
basically, but he done his level best. That's the title of the poem. So the guy that wrote the letter wrote this story about this man, and then asked Mark Twain to make something a story about him, and Mark Twain wrote the poem, and it's written in the language of the time, that's very whatever the colloquialisms, or whatever the word is I'm looking for here. But when you read it, you feel like you can hear somebody straight out of Mark Twain's era
Right.
saying it. And the book, when we found the book, it just opened to fell open on that page, and it was like Mark Twain was
Channeling us.
screaming at us, make a song out of this. It never happened, but it needs to happen. And it's a really cool song that I feel like pretty much everyone can relate to, because there's almost something in there that everyone has, like I said, can relate to, has some experience with. He was a preaching. He was a choir leader. He was a preacher. He was
A
a
miner.
traveler, a miner. He was
Farmer.
literally all over the place. But he done his level best. And whatever he done it with a zest. Those are some of examples of the signature lines in it.
And what about that resonated with you guys?
I don't know. I just read it, and I couldn't get it out of my head, and I kept hearing like
when we first
basically-
started talking about doing a song to that, I mean, immediately Monique was like, "Let's go with
well, I could just
that
hear it.
style."
It
of
was one of
music."
an example of how like there's different ways of that songwriting comes to you, and this was just like I could hear the finished song in my head, like all the bluegrass harmonies and the banjo picking and the bass and the fiddle parts. You know, I've listened and played a lot of bluegrass, so that was just like it just has to be in this old timey bluegrassy style because that's what the just the you know the rhythm, the meter of the poem, the language. It just sounded like someone singing in that, and I could hear the harmonies, and it just sort of wrote itself in a way.
Right. That's amazing when that happens. And it doesn't always happen that a whole song falls in your head. You know where you want to go with it. You hear the sound. You know that you're staying in the period that Mark Twain.
It's a complete step by step process. Sometimes it's a struggle, and sometimes it's just kind of like we don't know. We just start with one thing, and then start adding layers, and then it develops into what it's meant to be. But I think it also can make a difference because sometimes if the lyrics are there first, then the music falls into place, and then sometimes it's the other way around. Like we come up with this groove or a bass line or whatever, a chord progression, and then you listen to it and words start coming to you or ideas. But in this case, Mark Twain took care of the lyrics for us, and reading the poem, I could just hear the rhythm and the music, and it was fairly easy in the sense of writing a song.
Sounds amazing. I think we're going to listen to Level Best.
Awesome. Enjoy.
Level Best.
He done his level best to beat a regular task to do. He never took no rest, but it was often on the same. He done his level best. He was preaching on his feet. He tramped from east to west and north to south and cold and heat. He done his level best. If he was preaching on his feet, he tramped from east to west and north to south and cold and heat. He done his level best. He yanked a sinner out of Hades and landed with the blessed, then snatched a prayer and walked in again. Curse and sing and howl and pray and dance and drink and jest. Oh, he done his level best. Whatever this man was sought to do, he done it with a zest. No matter what his contract was, he'd do his level best. If he was preaching on his feet, he'd tramp from east to west and north to south and cold and heat. If he was preaching on his feet, he'd tramp from east to west and north to south and cold and heat. Done his level best.
We are back on the ranch with the Tone Travelers. And we're going across 7 platforms. So if you're watching, let us know where you're watching from. We'd love to hear from you. We're here with Monique and Bill and little Oliver. And what's the pups? I didn't know the pup's name.
This is Princess Piewacket.
Cat.
She is
Oh.
actually more dog than cat. She's a
It does look like a cat, honestly.
she's a Seal Point rag doll.
Oh, look at that. Now my dog, when I grab my guitar, heads to the far part of my house. Your dog's right there with you?
No,
No.
this is definitely a cat.
Cat.
I don't know if you could tell, but she's
She's just like a cat.
Typical cat.
Like a cat.
Yeah.
Little fur ball.
She's a cute-
My sister's got the mountain coon cats. They look like small
Yeah.
mountain lions.
My sister had one of a Maine Coon, so they're probably very
Yeah, the
similar.
Maine Coon. That's right. That's what they're called.
Yeah, they're
Oh,
long hair, just like she is.
yeah.
Ragdolls are bred to be very docile, as you can see. You know, what other cat could you sit here and hold this long?
Well, Billy was listening to the song and really loves the fiddle
Oh, thank you.
on the song. That was you, Monique?
That was me.
Okay. And the rest of the instruments, that was you, Bill?
It was Monique and me.
Yeah.
Well, let's
And
see.
Frank, our drummer.
I played fiddle, banjos on the keyboard, and then my banjo ukulele, banjolele.
I played.
And
There is such a thing as a banjo ukulele.
there is.
Are you kidding me?
Where it is right this
What are you looking for?
Banjo?
The banjo ukulele. I have never seen one.
Actually, if you look at the title of level, the
Album
artwork
cover.
for Level Best, that's a picture of Piewacket here holding my banjo lally. So
Huh.
that's what it looks like if you can see that picture, because I can't seem to figure out where I have it right this second.
Bill's gonna hunt it down. That
I mean, you don't even. I couldn't even tell you how many instruments are in this house. It's
I know, like Billy says, there's a lot of talent in that space. A lot of talent. Look at you with all those instruments.
For Christmas, Bill just added one to the mix that I haven't really explored
There it
much
is.
yet. It's the concertina.
Oh yeah, I've seen those. Look at that! It's the cutest thing ever.
Here's the banjo uke. Okay, Mari's gonna exit the scene. She's getting a little squirmy. So you can see, I don't know if you're familiar with ukulele, but it's tuned just like a ukulele. with the
Okay.
same-
Oh, it's tuned like a ukulele, like a uke. Okay.
Yeah, it is a ukulele. It just has the body of the banjo, so it has this, the snare
Is that banjo resonance?
body.
Yeah, it's a really kind of a cool sound.
Yeah, the strings are nylon, just like a regular ukulele.
Right.
We do have we acquired a 5-string banjo when I was pregnant. Oliver made me get it, I swear. So I do have that, and that's on a few of our recordings that haven't been officially released yet. But yeah, we have the real banjo too. So this is like the baby banjo.
That is a baby banjo. I've seen a lot of different instruments, but
Play a song for everybody.
you got me on that one. That's really kind of cool.
Yeah. Oliver has his own little ukulele, so that's his training wheels. The keyboard.
Let's see if I can get him started. I mean, he can't help it. I mean, with all the instruments you have around.
It's inevitable.
Oh, that's good stuff. That's good stuff. I mean, you both are multi-instrumental. And Monique, you said you're classically trained. What do you mean by that?
Well, I grew up as a kid. I had private lessons on violin and voice, and I played, learned how to read music and everything. And then I have a degree. My undergraduate is in music performance from Mansfield University, and then I have a master's in performance and jazz studies from University of the Arts in Philadelphia.
So
I
you know a plethora of obscure chords.
yeah, theory. I have
But you
all
also
that.
did the Mancini Institute.
Yeah, I
You
did a
did,
lot of different programs
you've been through
and
all kinds of different musical ventures. That
I've played with professional orchestras and choirs and
Smokey Robinson,
Smokey Robinson,
Yeah.
Kanye West.
Kanye West.
Yeah, but I mean, I pretty much spent my whole young life training to you know, all the different theories, techniques, you know, private teachers, master classes, school, everything you can think of, and
Right.
then I
My
just
bass player, he's usually on. He's not on tonight. He's a classically trained bass player.
Okay.
So he can
Stand
pull
up.
an upright bass and at times and a regular bass. And it really brings a lot to a song when you have that much, you know, variation.
Does that too? He has stand-up electric fretless.
Yeah.
It's pretty
I
cool.
love fretless bass.
You
I
don't,
know, right?
Like wobble into the notes. Like it makes it sound so cool.
Yeah. Yeah, they're just so cumbersome to go on the road with. You have to like strap them to the top of your car or something.
Yeah.
Well, actually, the electric one that he has is as thin as this thing, and it just stands on a stand. I mean, it's an upright
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
fretless bass, but it's electric.
with
But electric, right, so it's not as clunky as a regular
yeah,
bass.
with electric instruments, you obviously you don't have to have that whole body
Mm.
because the sound is coming
Vibrating
from
and
other sources.
all that stuff. That's good stuff. So tell me about the band.
Okay. Well, I mean, we kind of put it together in 2018 with my son Justin, with my good friends Tim Manone and Frank Malone and my own and
Timmy Colbert.
Timmy Colbert, and also Monique's brother plays trumpet, Andre Kinnier. He was on a bunch of her songs. Even Monique's dad plays accordion, and he was on one of our songs.
Such a musical family. I'm the only one in my family that plays an instrument.
This
Oh,
place is
terrible.
just- it's
Well,
like
that's amazing in a
it's
way.
like a
though.
musical museum around here. Yeah.
I know, but you guys were jamming at such a young age.
Oh,
you know?
definitely thank my dad for a lot of the training that I have because, you know, we grew up with a music room that was full of instruments. My dad built a harpsichord and he has it's still here. He has a Yamaha concert grand piano. And speaking of, that was my training wheels. So I feel really blessed and lucky to have been able to
Concert
perform.
grand piano.
Downstairs,
I
yeah.
would wake up to the sound of Bach and whatever my dad was working on, and he also composes, so he has a lot of musical training as well. And he
It
plays
sounds like
accordion.
it.
We did
Sounds
a lot of competitions and talent shows and things where he accompanied me on accordion, and I either played fiddle or sang.
Oh, that's so neat. And Billy does have a point. Basses are not as cumbersome as drum sets, so we need to clarify that.
Take no
Drummer setup is definitely the worst.
definitely.
And they're so precise where they put everything. Like,
That's right.
oh, Oliver, are you
Vocal
gonna be a drummer?
warming up.
He's warming up those pipes.
You
Wait
probably
till he gets going.
audio during the song, but he sings along to our songs all the time.
Yeah.
Like
I have a bird that does that. My parrot.
That one?
he's being quiet,
Quiet
strange.
tonight.
I see him over there. What kind of bird do you have?
He's a cockatiel.
Oh, a cockatiel. I have a gray, an African gray.
Oh, okay, I know a friend of mine who's a harpist, amazing musician, Gloria
The
Galante.
harps are tough. Yeah.
She has an African gray. His name is Miles Davis.
That's
I'm
great.
sure you know who that is, and he sings opera. He's a She's a character.
Yeah, mine goes opera range. Definitely, so she's a soprano for sure.
Yeah, I can relate.
Yep.
Sopranos are
And you could have the bird with the cat.
oh, he literally walks
This
all
this
over
cat
her.
won't even kill a mouse.
Oh my goodness.
So,
That's good.
she's so calm. It's ridiculous.
He literally
Oh.
walks all over the cat, and she's just like, "Oh, it's you again," like the annoying little brother. Yeah.
Sing a song.
So here he is.
The shy one. Look at him. Oh, he's beautiful.
Yes, look at
Beautiful.
please do not play any seagulls or he can't whenever he hears we have a song Mermaid which has recordings of seagulls off and on through it and
Freaks out.
he cannot deal with seagulls. I
Oh
don't know
boy.
what it is.
Well, speaking of songs and singing along, your next song up is going to be Going Home.
Okay. Yeah.
And you guys have, I mean, look at the fabulous, your animals, you have all your instruments. Why would you leave?
We got it all right here.
I know.
And
I
thank
know.
God
So,
for technology because we can stay right here and
Be
still
anywhere.
communicate with anywhere in the world and record and put it out there and you know we're hoping to perform.
yeah, look, well, we met on a UK platform,
Right.
you know, with Mark. It's amazing. And we're in the same state.
That's crazy. It's a small world.
Yep. Well, tell me about Going Home.
It's basically a song about all the things we love about our home, and
All the things that make you want to go home.
and make you want to go home, and yeah,
just you know
It's-
the comfort and
it's
the
very
love.
country oriented. It's very bluesy oriented,
Folky, country
folky.
folk.
Yeah, yeah. It was just all the things that I remembered about. Before the pandemic, we were doing 250 gigs a year. I played in a Pink Floyd tribute band. She played in an ELO tribute band. She played in orchestras. Then we both had an acoustic thing where we would do a duo, or we had my son, we did a trio, or we had my bass player and my drummer, and we did an electric thing. And we were basically the only days we could work on original music were Mondays and Tuesdays, and it was very little bit, if any.
Right.
And then the pandemic hit, and we lost all those gigs. So we started working, you know, with Pro Tools and working our songs, and right now we got like 350 songs.
Not released.
We got 56 released.
That's amazing. So you guys hunkered down during COVID and just got productive with your own material.
Before that, a lot of it was the stuff we were, like I said, on Monday and Tuesday, we would lay down an original bass track.
But it was slow because we were
Very
really,
slow.
really, really busy. I mean, you know, and I was teaching. I still teach virtually now, but I at the time I was doing all these gigs, performing, rehearsing,
No, you can't
and
have the
teaching like
microphone.
somewhere from 20 to 30 students a week. So you know, it was like burning the candle at all ends for both of us, and it was just you know you only
Yeah, and
have
we
so
were
much time in a
and
day.
we were never home, and that's why that's why I wrote the song. Because
Yeah.
coming back home, what you love, just the smell, the sight, you know, the road coming up to your house. When you haven't been there in a while, you really appreciate it. I'm sure you know what I'm saying.
I do. I do. And it sounds like you guys were apart too, because you had different acts going on.
Not so much. She was in the act, or I was driving her to the acts too.
Yeah, well, I mean,
We
I have
were apart somewhat.
I have not always been legally blind, but when that happened in around 2017, it's a relatively long story, but let's just leave it at that for now.
Yeah, we were unpartable. She needed my eyes, So
Gotcha.
Because I couldn't,
took her
I-
to every orchestra
yeah,
gig.
I
And
can't drive anymore, but I couldn't stop. You know, I had to make ends meet, and I wasn't about to stop performing just because I couldn't drive.
And then
Right.
we were doing all the Celtic kind of Irish music and stuff. And I mean, on any given St. Patty's Day, we'd have like 6, 7 gigs in 3 days. We'd be like upstate Pennsylvania, we'd be down in New Jersey, we'd be in Delaware, we'd be over in New York. I mean, we would drive to these gigs and do all these gigs. Monique was killing it on the violin, and they loved that stuff right around St. Patty's Day, all that Celtic kind of stuff. And then on our regular type of gigs, we'd be out and doing weddings. They loved the violin and the acoustic guitar.
Right.
You know,
But I have to tell you, I mean, I don't want to underscore that you're legally blind, and yet you're like, okay, I still can play my music. Like you just kept in step. And it sounds like it was a traumatic, you know, it could have shut down a lot of people, but you were like, okay.
I feel really grateful that I've always had a really strong ear and a really strong memory, a quick memory. So that's one thing I was lucky. Like when I lost my eyesight, I still had a lot of it here that, you know, I just had to, and you know, again, thanks to technology, I can read when I have like my phone screen, I zoom it and I can read sheet music that way when necessary. It's still a bit straining on the eyes, but I can learn music from sheets when I have to.
Right.
And it really helps to have virtual, you know, screens that enlarge the text.
Right. You just adapted and you're back better than ever, you know, with a real strong ear. Good for you. I admire that a lot. I
I'm
really
sure you
do.
can relate when one sense is compromised, the rest, you know, step up to the plate.
Monique did a charity she has type 1 diabetes, and that's pretty much what took her eyes. And she actually wrote a song, we wrote a song together called Blood Sugar Blues. And it tells a story of living the life of a diabetic, type 1 diabetic, you know, and it's not like a type 2 diabetic, like, you know, they have a bit of insulin work, and Monique doesn't have that, so you have to be very vigilant in your diet and your exercise and your insulin, and it's a hard
It is.
work.
It is a whole different animal. Why don't we, right now, we're going to listen to your song, and we'll be right back with you. We're going to listen to Going Home.
All right, thank you.
Awesome.
Enjoy.
Well, I'm gone, but not for long. I'm on my way home. On the road, you're so alone. Hold on, going home. Home is not where you live, but where they understand you. Home's a place where you grow up wanting to leave, but you grow old wanting to get back to. Nothing's as pleasant as coming back home. Home is a place you love, your dreams are gone, but not for long. Well, I'm gone, but not for long. Hold on, we're going home. for home. Well, I'm gone, not for long. We're going home. This journey takes you home again. Good laugh with family and good friends. It's the old, the new, the hand-me-downs, the worn-out republic things in your home. Makes you go. I'm on my way home again. I'm gone, not for long. Come on, we're going home.
And we are back on the ranch with the Tone Travelers, and we are across seven platforms tonight. If you're watching, feel free to chime in. Let us know where you're watching from. We're glad to have you on the ranch. If you're watching and you want to be on the ranch, there's this annoying thing scrolling at the bottom, and you could just go to my website to the shows and fill out a form, and we can get you on the ranch. So again, thanks for listening. And we have Bill and Monique, which are the Tone Travelers. How'd you become Tone Travelers?
Well,
I like
we
to,
were just trying.
yeah.
Well, I'll tell you my answer.
I like to say that we were all going all these
Tell you
gigs.
Exactly the story because I remember
So we
very
were travelers.
specifically. I'm obsessed with time travel, but the band Time Travelers would be a little bit too like. What's the word? Like confining or something?
Plus, they were already taken, I think.
Probably that too. But I specifically remember we were in this little it was Chubby's. We were at Chubby's. This little cheesesteak place in Philly we used to go to. And we're sitting there discussing like we were about to we're getting our first recordings together, and we're thinking, well, we're going to release this stuff, but what are we going to call it? Because we were performing all over the place, but we were mostly doing covers.
Under 5 different bands.
Music.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Either Acoustic Martin and Company or Electric Martin Band, but we didn't have an original act name yet, and we're sitting there like brainstorming and writing down ideas on the placemats in this little diner. And finally, I don't know, I just remember that's where we came up with it. I think I just said, how about Tone Travelers instead of
I
Time
said, I'm
Travelers?
always looking for the best tone, and we're always traveling. Sold.
We instead of traveling through time, we're traveling through our musical tones across time and space. So that's kind of...
I can appreciate that. I really do, because I'm into time travel. I'm a sci-fi and horror fan, like straight up. I belong to a club, the sci-fi and horror group.
Nice.
Have you seen on Netflix? It's called The Body. It's all about time travel. This body shows up in different points in time.
I heard of it. Is that new?
Oh, it's on point. You must watch. I'm just saying. Back to music, but a little side note to a fellow sci-fi fan that it's all about time travel, and it really does work out well.
It's a lot of our other songs, if you listen to the lyric content, there's a lot of that type of theme that you'll hear. Not necessarily in these more folky Americana songs, but some of them are a lot more spacey and kind of the sounds lend themselves to those sort of,
Yeah, because you guys do run the gamut with some very synthesized, like a keyboard, where it's a lot of spaciness, and almost like European sounding. I want to say because they do that a lot in Europe.
Well, I love Air. I don't know if you know that band. They're French. I think it's like just a trio, but they have a ton of layers, kind of like that,
It's
and
very,
definitely one.
it's like in a meditational, but
It's
upbeat
it's like
kind of
it's
thing.
basically it's kind of like psychedelic almost.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's it has a lot of synth sounds and like a lot of vocal layers, and I'm totally into that.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you guys play so many instruments, your creativity just takes you in so many different directions.
Sure.
Your last song is the traveling song. Is that time travel too? No, that's
Not
That's a UK travel song.
well.
isn't
Yeah,
it?
I wrote the words on so. The yeah, I was on the plane. We were going. The choir I was singing with was a professional church choir from First Presbyterian Church in Philadelphia, and we went to Truro, which is near Cornwall in England. And
Yes.
there's a cathedral there, and that was we were the resident choir there. But on the way there, it was the first time I'd had to travel away from Bill and Pi. We didn't have Oliver yet because this was like 5-6 years ago or something. And yeah, and Pi, and I was just like, I was really excited to go on tour with the choir, and, but I was also feeling, sad that I had to part with my loves, and so the words
Right.
came while I was sitting on the plane, and then came home and pretty much just recorded it on the spot. I think Bill came up with the progression, and then we just started playing it, and then the words just fell into place. That's as much as I can really say about that song. And as far as the instrumentation, we tried to make it sort of folky and what's the word I'm looking for? Like, not necessarily Americana, but trying to make it have influences from different places, so it has this sort of folky country feel, but also like I added some penny whistles, so I was trying to add a little bit of that, like we're going overseas, and it's like northern England, so it's almost near Ireland and Celtic. There's definitely some influences like that there with the scenery and the sea and everything. So I guess that's kind of where the song came from.
again a lot of different influences just come together for this one song. A lot of
Thank
different things. So let's give it a listen. The traveling song.
All right.
Anchors on my pants, peace sign on my shirt. Feeling overjoyed, but somehow still a little hurt. A headband's leopard print, my feet all saddled in. I'll be back home soon, where no place I'd rather be. Love is in my heart, stronger than it's ever been. In this traveling world, I'm so very mad.
Start over.
All right, we are back on the ranch with the Tone Travelers. Thank you for following along with us tonight. Again, you're you can put comments. We can see all your comments if you want to chime in and have any questions for the Tone Travelers. We have Bill and Monique, and I agree with Billy on this one. I really love that haunting arrangement. Some sustained chords, that nice calm strum, and then that whistle, the Celtic whistle. Just so haunting. It really worked. That's my favorite.
That song. She's great on the flute, penny whistle. She's a wounded girl.
You know, I had a crew on last week, Band Wanted, and they're like, oh, this needs spoons. And the guy was like, what? Spoons? And she did it. And she's like, all right, it needed spoons. You know, like you can't underestimate some of these little touches that you brought to the songs.
All about that. Yeah.
Yeah, a little whistle. I mean, it really set the mood for the entire track.
And that was, I forgot to mention, that was also part of the, the lyrics of the song. We're telling the story, and I didn't have room to bring a piano or a violin. It wouldn't have been necessarily been safe to try to travel to fit that in my suitcase. But I had this little beater ukulele, so I stuffed it in the middle of my suitcase, and then I brought my penny whistle I just stuck it in my purse as a carry-on. So I had those two instruments with me the whole time I was in Cornwall, and that definitely helped.
Yeah, it all came together. It really did, really beautifully.
Thank you so much.
So if people wanted to find your stuff, and you have to listen to a lot of it because there's a lot of different genres going on. Where can they find you?
Everywhere online.
Everywhere at Tone Travelers. We're on every site you can think of. I like to say we're everything at Tone Travelers.
If you want to listen to the songs, we're on YouTube, Tone Travelers, original band, Spotify, Pandora, Apple Music, just all the platforms. We're on there.
All the social medias.
And we're on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter. Yeah.
Right. All you got them all covered. That's great. And you guys are you still playing in a lot of different bands, or are you just focusing on original music? What are you guys doing?
if there were a lot of different bands in this area to play with, I'm sure we would be, but there really isn't a whole lot going on where
Oh boy.
are
That's
quite
gonna be a
big.
culture shock though. You go from being in 5 different bands and all of a sudden it's like,
Well, the pandemic did
It-
that. That
it-
was the shock.
It definitely
Yeah.
was like a 180, and I definitely went through some serious withdrawal because my
We
whole
played
life
every week,
was performing. That's what I
Wednesday to Sunday. Every week.
pretty much all I knew was just being out there, like under the lights, performing, microphone, whatever, whether it was on a stage or in a church, singing in the choir, or playing in the orchestra at the Kimmel Center. That was it. And then when just like totally
Yeah,
went to a screeching halt with.
I was doing gigs with my Pink Floyd tribute, and there'd be 2, 3, sometimes 5,000 people at these gigs, and it went zip zero.
But now,
Right.
now that we have time to think
Yeah.
about what we want to do, we have talked about performing again, but we would do it as Tone Travelers, that would be a completely different direction for both of us, because
We're working on the Best of Tone Travelers Volume 1,
It's
and that's what we'll tour.
I mean, it's really been my lifelong dream. Like, I always wanted to perform, and I was living that dream, performing in all the different contexts in Philadelphia, and I got to travel, and I did it all. But the real dream is what we're working towards now, doing shows with our original music and saying what we have to say to the world, and hopefully
and that's a big leap of faith. It's safer to play like Pink Floyd and stuff. It's tried and true. But now
Yeah.
you have that big leap of faith and getting your own material out there.
I've secretly just always believed that it was possible, and it might take some time, and it has a lot of challenges that come with it, but it's meant to happen. So
I mean,
Yeah.
that's
I-
what we're here for.
I have a goal of 100 published songs, and with all our work and Monique's solo album, we're at 56. We're not that far away.
Oh, that's amazing. That's
I'd like to
amazing.
get them all done, all 300 songs done, but I don't think that's physically possible. Maybe over the next 5 or 10 years.
Right. Right.
We're just handpicking songs from our material now.
And that's what you do. You take what you think is the best and the strongest arrangements and
And
You know,
mastering
out-
them, and, yeah.
put it out to the
Speaking of
universe.
Pennsylvania, this is a bit of a side note, but if you know the area, are you near Lidditz at all? Or Lancaster area?
Oh, yeah, I'm not too far from Lancaster.
Do you know the Wolf Sanctuary at all?
Yeah, I do. I've never been there, but I've heard of it. My
You have to
students
go.
I worked with in New
First of all,
Jersey
you have to go.
adopted a wolf. So,
It's amazing. It's an
We adopted a wolf,
yeah,
yeah.
and we had the wolves sing on our song.
right. So
Oh,
we recorded them. We took our expensive vocal microphone and set it up in the windy field up there. They let us. They kind of set it up by special arrangements, and we booked a little session with them. And the tour guide went. He basically was like raised by wolves, so he goes into the woods. He was like. He suggested that we go near the pack that had puppies, wolf pups. He's like, if I can get the pups to howl, then they all start.
Yeah.
And there's like at least 50 wolves in the sanctuary, so you can imagine he got them going, and so we got
And I
some
got
really
the
good
recording.
sounds of wolves, and we put it on the song called "Waxing Gibbous Blue Moon." And it's a charity for the sanctuary. So all
Yeah, the
proceeds.
go to the Wolf Sanctuary of Pennsylvania.
everyone go listen to that song right now and raise money for those wolves.
And then go there because it's a really beautiful place.
I heard. I actually adopted a koala after the whole Australia fires, and I couldn't watch.
I adopted a tiger for my nephew. It's a It's one of the endangered ones.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I love that you can do stuff like that.
Yeah, every little bit, you know. I'm all about saving the animals, the environment.
Yeah, I feel very passionate about that. So we do everything we can.
We're gonna have to collaborate on a song about that.
Would love to.
We're gonna have to do that. I'm holding you to it.
All right. Well, you know where to find us.
I do. I wonder how far apart we are. 'Cause you're
Well,
in Counter.
if you said you're near Bethlehem,
Yeah,
2.5 hours,
2.5 hours. Yeah,
maybe more like 3.
maybe 3.
Because you're
Yeah.
probably like, how far would you say Philadelphia is from you? Like an hour and a half.
about an hour south.
Yeah, so
About 3.
you're probably about 3 hours from where we are.
Yeah.
But you know what? We're going to the Wolf Sanctuary in August because my brother from England, they come every August, and we are planning a trip there. So maybe we could coordinate something with you.
Yeah, keep me in mind. Keep me posted on that. I would definitely need you out there.
Absolutely.
And then I am a mile from the Martin factory, so we can
I've been there. I got Martins.
well, we
Yeah.
have to take
the
Oliver.
name.
Got to take
Oliver's a Martin now
See him
too.
build a guitar.
Yeah, I actually had an uncle working there once, but all really good stuff. So that'd be great. We'll set in August. The end of August, I'm heading down south again. I have some dates lined up,
Nice.
but the beginning of August, I'm around, so you could definitely do that. Lancaster's not that far. It's worth the drive, so
Yeah, for sure.
a lot of places are. Well, really great time hanging out with you guys tonight. Everyone listening, Tone Travelers on all platforms, I want to thank you for chiming in. Again, if you want to be on the show, just go to my website /shows, fill out the form, and you can come on the ranch and we can meet. Thank you guys very much. You guys sit tight. I'm just going to finish up.
Thank you so much for having us, Randy.
Oh, this was fun. I enjoyed it. Thanks for coming on. Bye, Oliver.
We'll be here. We'll be in touch. Bye.
I'm on the road, don't know where it goes. I'm on a road, follow your heart, it won't let you down. Follow your heart, take the steps beyond your way.